So we are now seeing the data right in front of us about Prismatic Evolution's future and how it's going to perform in the long term. Everything basically for Prismatic Evolutions, sealed wise, is skyrocketing. And I am not over exaggerating that. There was many debates on Prismatic Evolutions and the price point to buy at. I have always said Elite Trainer boxes, $80 to $100 is a great buy. I even said $110, $120 is a good buy. I stand by all of that. We are seeing, after the many reprints we have gotten in the past few months, that Prismatic Evolutions now, we're coming to the tail end of all those reprints we've gotten recently. They are drying up. And these are early signs of what is to come in a year, in 2 years. I feel like it should be enough data for those people out there that were maybe thinking Prismatic Evolutions, it's not going to go up any higher. No one cares about this set. I mean, you got to really think about how much Prismatic Evolutions we have truly gotten in the past few months. And to see the prices appreciate like this, the products that haven't been reprinted for a while, how they're performing, it just goes to show these, products that have just recently been reprinted that are starting to move up, what their growth is going to look like, let's say, in a few months from now, if Pokemon doesn't reprint those products, the price is going to be for those. Because a lot of these are coming from reprints, and we are starting to see them appreciate now. Like we have seen some, products, for example, one product I'm going to show you guys here, the Super Premium Collection, those have not gotten reprinted. Those were released, I believe, a bit later compared to the other products. And it has gotten reprinted. And you guys are going to see the prices for that one. It's pretty ridiculous. If these products that we have gotten reprinted for recently, if they don't get reprinted by the end of the year, guys, I'm telling you, these prices you're seeing now are going to seem cheap. So basically everything I'm showing you here, I would consider right now market price. If you can't even go locally and buy on Facebook Marketplace, save a little bit of money, all of these on market price right now are pretty good buys. So let's just get into it and see the prices of these products and how expensive they are at this point. So Prismatic Evolution's Elite Trainer boxes, just the normal one, you can see right now lowest listed is $116. Now, a lot of these products you will find that they're being sold by people that have like no ratings. If you actually look here, this person has 0 sales or 0% 3 sales. This person has 100%, 58 sales. They are still a smaller seller, but it's worth noting we're at $120 basically, because I don't consider this, to be a real seller. We're at $120 for normal ETBs. I'll be honest with you guys. I truly thought that this second Costco drop we got a few weeks ago, a month ago, I thought this was going to bring prices down to $90 and possibly stay in the mid 90s for a while. That did not happen. This little minuscule drop, I believe it was right around here. We saw like minuscule drops, or maybe it was here, not exactly sure. Maybe it was around here. We saw such a minuscule drop from that Costco drop that I was like, okay, this is not going how I thought it was going to go. I need to buy as much as I can. And that's what I did. And I'm really glad I did, because you can see what's going on now. Well, that Costco drop did basically absolutely nothing. For about a week, prices were in the, it was in the mid 90s for one day, and it was bouncing between like $100, $105 for a couple of weeks. And now in the past week, you can see the sales volume has increased dramatically, even at $110. And now we're at $120. And like I said, you just got to imagine, these are coming from reprints. We literally just got this Costco drop a few weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. You got to think about, if Pokemon doesn't reprint this product by the end of this year, and we have holiday season coming up, where are these prices going to be at that point? That's what you have to think to yourself. And that's what this entire time I've been telling you guys, why are you not buying these ETBs if you can find them for $80 to $100? It's like, we got all the reprints, all the supply dumped, that is your chance to buy. Now, if you've waited all the way to this point and maybe this data is now more convincing to you than it was before that maybe you should be buying, even at this price point, I don't think it's a bad pickup. I'm saying it. I don't think, even though it's gone up like $20-$25, I don't think it's a bad buy right now if you had to buy. Just my opinion. So normal ETBs at this point are basically $120. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't like this. I want more opportunity to buy more. I've been telling you guys, Prismatic Evolutions locally has been very hard to find in large quantities. People may be selling 1 ETB, 2 ETBs, and a lot of people now are selling them at market price. It's getting very hard to find these. All the, evil scalpers, they've all sold their product. All the people bought them, and I have a good amount, but I would like more and more. And it's unfortunate that now things are starting to go up because I was still trying to accumulate as much as possible. So it sucks. I honestly want Pokemon to reprint more of these, but will they? That's another question. Now, if you go on eBay, you're not going to find these really for any cheaper. There's one here for $115, so you're saving $5, but it says here sealed box is worn. Doesn't sound good. One here for $115. So hey, if you want to buy on the open market, here $110. Maybe you can look for some deal, save $5-10 on eBay. That may be an option because now on TCG Player they're $120. So go on eBay, buy for like $110. There's one here for $110. After tax, you're probably just paying whatever market price is on TCG Player. Maybe an option, but check locally. If you can still buy any locally for $100, I mean, it's like an instantaneous buy at this point. Now cases are now going for about $1,500. You can say we recently had a few days where a large amount of cases sold at $1,400, and now we're at $1,500. I picked up a case not too long ago for $1,000. I was like, it's an okay deal. Now it looks like a much better deal that I guess I bought the case. So yeah, they're now at $1,500. Now if you go on eBay, cases are not going for any cheaper. They're actually a lot more expensive. So your best bet is to go on TCG Player. If you're ever buying a case, I highly recommend you guys ask the seller beforehand if they ship double boxed. Some of them don't, so there's something to think about there. Now next, PCETBs. PCETBs at $400. Does it suck that, yeah, it's basically at this point pretty much doubled in, 3 months? You can see at one point here it was $214. Now it is basically, after you go through all these other sellers, it's above $400, so it's basically doubled in a few months. Does it suck to buy after that? Yes. But if you consider 151 PCETBs are $1,000, $400, if you think about where this is going to be in a few years, you're probably going to double your money. Probably. Maybe even more. So in that case, 400 I would still consider not a bad price to invest into. It just sucks that you're literally buying a few months after and it's doubled. It's the part that sucks, but at this point you can't go back in time. So if you didn't buy it until this point, it's still not a bad buy. At $400, it's not terrible. Now, if you go on eBay, one thing I did notice on eBay, they're going for more closer to mid fours. In my opinion, when you see eBay or TCG Player any disparity in pricing, usually that means the lower price is going to regulate to that higher price. It's going to kind of, go, meet whatever the other marketplace is. So if like eBay is more expensive, TCG Player is going to get bought out, vice versa. So therefore, the fact that a lot of these PCTVs on eBay are around $450, there's a couple here for a little bit cheaper. I think the price, if you can buy them for around $400 flat, is pretty good. Now next here for the case, these cases now, if you do the math of individual boxes, you're paying at this point about $540 for each PCTB for the case. Now you're paying around $100 premium for each ETB, which you do the math is about a 25% premium. Now PCTB cases, cases just in general, it's very hard to predict where prices will appreciate to and how they grow because the case market is more niche. Now these cases are more rare because I'll say this every single time I talk about Prismatic PC ETB cases, but they were once offered in a quantity of 4. Then midway, Pokemon Center took it down and relisted them in a quantity of 2. So there's not as many cases out there as, or there's not as many cases as just loose boxes because you were only able to buy cases for a short period of time. So you are paying a 25% premium. for each ETB, and we consider that factor, it's not, I guess, a huge premium. So we may see these go for crazy numbers, but a big thing I will tell you guys with PC ETB cases, you gotta make sure the label is legible. I will caution you guys every single time about any PC ETB case. Pokemon Center purposely puts the shipping label over the product label to hide what's inside of the box. And in doing so, sometimes it gets messed up. You can see somebody here just left the shipping label on top of it because they don't want to mess it up. And other cases on eBay are, around the same price or maybe a little bit more expensive than TCG Player. Now I'll show you guys a few examples of what I mean by this. You can see this case label. It's somewhat legible. You can see they actually wrote in what this is, because I guess maybe it's not legible and they had to write it in. This is kind of sketchy. Here is an example. This one's it's pretty legible, this one, but you can see all these, the shipping label was taken off of the product label, and you can see there's other examples down here. So please, I'm telling you, if you're gonna pay the case premium, spend extra money for that cardboard box and that stop tape, make sure you can actually read the product label, or else you're pretty much bamboozling yourself, because who cares to buy a brown box with no case label, because that's basically what you're paying for. So that's a big thing I will caution you guys. Don't waste your money buying a case where the label is not legible. You're buying a brick of nothing, basically, because if you can't read it, then what's the point? Now, a few other products that have gone up quite significantly. The Super Premium Collection. So like I said, this was released, I believe, a little bit after Prismatic Evolutions was just the set officially released. It looked like it was released maybe around May, like around this time frame. So this has not gotten reprinted from my knowledge since it was released. And you can see the growth rate has been pretty significant for this product. Now, I am actually just starting to buy these, to be honest with you guys. It's hard to find large quantities of these. So just recently, I found one person, it was pretty close to me, so it wasn't a big deal. But I bought one of these for $200. It is in mint condition. It came with a protective case. You guys will probably see it in one of my videos where I show you guys just buy sealed product in the corner. I bought one of them for $200 flat with a protective case. So pretty good. To me, it was worth it. I didn't have to drive far, like 15 minutes. It wasn't a big deal. And yeah, you can see right now they're almost $300 basically. So yeah, I mean, I think the 15-minute drive was worth it because they're basically $300. So yeah, super premiums at one point they were going for around $190, $200, and now they're $300. The question is to be asked: are they going to reprint these? Now, anybody saying they're not going to reprint these, it's hard to say, right? We can use our own logic and try to think, okay, they're not going to reprint it because of XYZ reason, but Pokemon in history has reprinted sort of, you could say, I mean, it's not the exact comparison, but they have reprinted like ultra premium collection boxes, 151 UPCs, Costco, right? Charizard UPCs, everyone knows, printed into the ground. Are they going to print this into the ground? It's hard to say. Pokemon is printing a lot of Prismatic. That is something to know. But will they maybe take the foot off the gas of reprinting Prismatic to focus on maybe something like Deaths and Rivals? Possibly. So it's really hard to say, super premium collections, like where these are going to go, because these have not been reprinted yet to my knowledge based on the price appreciation. But these have skyrocketed in the past few months. And at 300, honestly, long term, if you're just going to buy this, I don't think it's a bad buy. You consider this is not a UPC, but I'm comparing it to UPCs because it's basically the same contents. If you compare to 151, what are 151 UPCs going for, like $500-$600, something like that? A Prismatic, SPC with this fruitcake EV, I think it's gonna be all right at $300 if you invest right now. I would still look locally. People still are selling them locally for the low 200s in my area. I'm starting to pick them up, guys. So I will be buying more SPCs. This is one of the things I don't want to miss out on. So I am starting to pick them up. Like I said, I just picked one up for $200. This is another product I'd probably be looking to buy if you can find them in the low 200s, because there are still listings around me. So I'm assuming for you guys, if maybe you'll be able to find some. I'd be picking up these probably as well, because now they're $300, and me buying at 200, I saved like $100. So yeah. So booster bundles, they have dropped in price in the past few weeks. big, restock happened. What was it? Walmart. I forget. Somebody commented on a video. It was Walmart, I think. But correct me if I'm wrong. These got restocked. It was a pretty big one, seemingly. These also were from the Costco ETB and booster bundle thing. And these have dropped, or they did drop from $65 down to $55. Now they are back up to basically $60. So booster bundles, if you're able to find them locally for $50, it's a very obvious buy. We have seen evidence of 151 Paladin Fates booster bundles at $100. If you're buying at $50 in a few years from now, if when this goes out of print, booster bundles, even though they tend to get reprinted more than other products, if $50, I don't think, if you consider $50, you're paying what at that point? Not even $9 per pack. You're like in the low to mid $8 per pack for a booster bundle. I don't think that's a bad pickup. So everything right now for Prismatic Evolutions is skyrocketing, except for the cards, the singles. I do feel like it is, going to come a day where the Prismatic singles see a rise again. I think once Pokemon stops reprinting Prismatic so heavily and they focus on other sets, we are going to see singles go up. But the sealed stuff is drying up from all these reprints we've been getting, guys. It's drying up a lot quicker than I thought. Like I said, personally with me, I don't actually like this because I want to have more opportunities to buy at a discount locally, because when market prices increase, I won't be getting as great of a discount, in person. I've been able to find a few listings here and there, but it is very, very hard now locally to find people that have a large quantity of a lot of these products. It's unfortunate, but that's why you have to look every day. I look every day, and whenever you see a deal that's worth it, and sometimes some people don't really check the market for the last few days, you can take advantage. You kind of gotta, it's hard to say this for Prismatic because obviously I pump my bags, whatever you want to call it, right? But it's kind of hard not to say to just buy Prismatic at this point. I mean, we're seeing the signs already. It's like, why wait? What's the point of waiting even longer? Do you really think we're going to be getting the same amount of product we've been getting for Prismatic in the last 3 to 4 months? That you think we're going to be getting that amount of supply in the next 3 to 4 months, the same exact amount? Truthfully, guys, you have to think about all these other sets that are just as expensive or more expensive, and come to a realization that it makes no sense, and I don't think it's physically possible that Pokemon can print Prismatic at the same rate they're doing it right now and print all the other sets they have to. To me, it just doesn't make sense. It seems impossible, and therefore any of these Prismatic products, honestly, even buying at market isn't bad, but especially locally, guys, if you can take advantage of deals, you should probably be doing it. That's all I'm going to say. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It sucks Prismatic is going up so fast, but this was inevitable. That's why for the past 3 months, I mean, you guys have seen the numerous videos of me. I probably at this point have made like 4 to 6 videos literally saying I spent thousands of dollars on Prismatic Evolutions. There's a reason why I've been doing that, guys, because I knew at some point this was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be this fast, but it's just the market we're in. So that's all I'm talking about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.